This video will help you to complete the minor section of your westward expansion flip notes. As you watch the video, make sure to follow along on your note sheet, filling in any blanks. Feel free to pause the video to give yourself more time. Thousands of people went to the American West in search of opportunities, especially the opportunity to make money. These individuals are referred to as entrepreneurs, willing to work hard and have their work rewarded in financial gain. Miners are no different. Gold was discovered in California around 1849 and attracted thousands of entrepreneurs. Then, huge deposits of silver were discovered in Nevada about 10 years later. People flocked to the West from all over the U.S. and even other countries in search of these precious minerals. Let's watch a quick clip about the wealth that the West has to offer and the people who went to find that wealth.
As rich as California was with gold, deposits existed in other places, including Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, and Colorado. It was almost by accident that one of the most fantastic finds ever was discovered in the Washoe, the eastern slope of the Sierra in Nevada Territory in 1859.
The Comstock lode was a major silver and gold deposit that ultimately contributed somewhere between $300 and $400 billion to the U.S. economy.
In 21st century money, that's $8 trillion.
If that figure's hard to digest, try this on for size.
A silver deposit was considered large if it was 3 feet wide. Deposits on the Comstock were 100 feet wide. But the riches were underground, way underground. Hard rock mining required technology that hadn't been invented yet.
And you have to realize that mining up to that point was a non-industrial activity. It was a technology that was low power and low cost, essentially. It made use of simple mechanical devices. Most of the power was provided by either humans or by animals.
Unlike the California placer minings, which were extensive, small party operations, the Comstock took miners underground, and it required a corporate investment. It required a large labor force.
They came from England and Ireland, even China. Men descended by the thousands on this remote region.
As these men descended on the West, they set up towns around major digging sites. With the arrival of more people, these towns developed into cities like Denver and San Francisco. These boom towns contained restaurants, hotels, houses, and stores for the miners to use. Occasionally, these boom towns died out and were abandoned, becoming known as ghost towns. This was because once the gold and silver were gone, so were the people. Mining had extremely negative effects on the environment. Miners and their equipment polluted mountain streams, they cut down forests to get wood for buildings, and mining techniques caused erosion and the loss of biodiversity. Just like their farming counterparts, female miners had lots of responsibilities. Many miners were not married, so the women in boom towns took on wifely responsibilities. They ran boarding houses, laundromats, and restaurants for miners to use. Miners faced a lot of setbacks, especially immigrant miners. Many immigrant miners came from China, where they had heard of the minerals the American West had. When they came to America, these immigrants were treated very poorly, heavily taxed, and forced to work in the worst locations. Additionally, all miners had a difficult and dangerous time getting to deep deposits of gold and silver because they didn't have the correct tools, which were usually very expensive. Miners also conflicted with Native Americans over land that contained these precious minerals. All of these factors and more led to the eventual end of mining. Large companies bought mines and hired men. It was more and more difficult for individual miners to compete with these large companies. As mining became more sophisticated and dangerous, less individual miners wanted to take risks for which they were not guaranteed money. You've now finished the minor section of your flip notes. Make sure to complete the other sections as well.